let's talk about Biden over here because we had the G7, right?
Well, the mainstream media coddles him,
G7.
and props. You're going to see just all the propaganda they push out on Biden, how great he is and wonderful he is, even though he's doing the same exact thing or worse than Trump. Okay. So, of
They
course,
do coddle him.
RT said, painful to watch Joe Biden apparently gets lost at G7 summit, wanders into cafe. I mean, guys, you can't make this shit up, okay? So he was seen walking around a cafe in Cornwall, England, before his wife stepped in and led him away. Conservatives who have long questioned Biden's mental acuity called the video painful to watch. Video footage posted online on Friday, but largely ignored by the mainstream media, shows Biden wandering slowly into the cafe terrace. Okay, so here's the video. Let's just play the video and watch a little bit of that. Yeah. Because the mainstream media isn't playing it.
How are your meetings going in Cornwall, Mr. President?
I beg your pardon?
How are your meetings going here in Cornwall?
Very well.
Come on.
Nice to meet you. They always do.
All right. So Trump did
like
give
a
us
lost
comedy.
puppy.
At least Biden. Yeah. You almost feel bad for the guy.
You
Almost.
do. It's terrible.
I've had a family member with cognitive decline. I'm not a doctor. He looks pretty bad, and I just wanted to point that out. Now,
I just don't know how people really think anybody in their right mind, like, this guy got 12 million more votes than Barack Obama. I mean, it's just not possible. The guy's not all there.
the big lie. Stop spreading it.
Sorry, my bad.
All right. So this is where it gets really bad, right? This is the G7 summit.
It got awful.
Yeah. So looking past the senile features like repeatedly confusing Libya with Syria. Okay.
Constantly.
You are the leader of the free world. You are the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. You are Joe Biden. Like, you cannot make this mistake right now. Biden suggests that Washington can work together with Russia in Syria.
Yeah.
Obviously disassembling, but also signs of a strategic retreat in the making. So, okay, this is from RT, of course. RT is the only one reporting on this one.
And so there's a lot going on where we could work together with Russia. For example, in Libya, we should be opening up the passes to be able to go through and provide food assistance and vital assistance to a population that's in real trouble. I think I'm going to try very hard to. It is, and by the way, there's places where I shouldn't be starting off and negotiating in public here, but let me say it this way. Russia has engaged in activities which we believe are contrary to international norms, but they have also bitten off some real problems they're going to have trouble chewing on. And for example, the rebuilding of Syria, of Libya, they're there. And as long as they're there without the ability to bring about some order in the region, and you can't do that very well without providing for the basic economic needs of people. So I'm hopeful that we can find an accommodation where we can save the lives of people for example, in Libya, consistent with the interest of maybe for different reasons, but reached for the same reason, the same result.
Okay,
It's a
I'm
shame,
trying to
fam.
make sense of what he's trying to say here.
It's a shame.
Trying. Okay, so replace Libya with Syria.
Exactly.
Okay.
Hello?
He's saying,
Oh my God.
guys, this is the president of the United States. If Trump, I'm gonna keep doing this because the mainstream media is ignoring this, right? If Trump said all of that, secular BS that he just rambling, imagine all of them. Oh my God, this is an embarrassment. The United States should be embarrassed right now. We have a president that is just speaking nonsense. Because one of the things against Trump was that he would curse and he would be brash with his whatever. Biden doesn't make sense when he talks either, or worse. At
Well,
least,
it's a whole different thing.
Yeah,
It's like you disagree with Trump's ideology and the way he's handling things, but at least he knows what he's saying. Joe Biden, it's a shame he can't tell the difference between Syria and Libya because he helped destroy both
Both
countries.
of them, right? So it's the same.
It's really a kick in the nuts because you're like, all right, guy, you helped destroy both of these economies and actually
came,
usher in a
we
slave
saw.
market. You were cheering it on with the whole, we came, we saw, he died. I think he went and spoke in Tripoli after the government fell. And Biden was all about Syria, and he doesn't even know the difference between the two, so he just does them both. And it's really a shame because a lot of Americans don't know what's going on in Libya or Syria either.
Yeah,
and that's because our
so they're
mainstream
not
media
gonna
just coddles this guy and never tells those stories.
Yeah, and the thing, and you notice how he completely pivoted to Russia is doing things that we don't like, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's all they have to go on still to this day, as he's getting ready to meet with Putin, because he still hasn't met with Putin. He's getting ready to meet with Putin, and that's, like, what everybody's waiting for. Now, we're over here. This is another video, right?
I didn't see this one yet.
So this is what happened. So they were having this meeting, all of the world leaders, and they erupted in laughter because he forgot that Boris Johnson had already introduced the president of South Africa during the G7 meeting. I mean, I'm not trying to rag on somebody with dementia. I'm just telling you that this is like, there's obviously something off here.
Yeah.
And just say how pleased I am to welcome those who have just joined us, bringing some pretty spectacular weather with them. Prime Minister Modi, President Ramaphosa, President Moon, in just a minute. And the President of South Africa. And the President of South Africa, as I said earlier. Oh, you did? I certainly did.
Well, you get mentioned twice.
So, I'll go over that again. Let me tell you, we're delighted. Mr. President, I'm glad to say we're joined by Prime Minister Modi of India.
Let's go. You feel like he's the butt of the joke of everywhere he goes, and it's like, why aren't Americans embarrassed? Like, they were so embarrassed with Trump, like being like, who he was, and there's Biden. I mean, the reason we're pointing this out, guys, is because the mainstream media literally pretends that Joe Biden is the greatest thing on fucking earth. Yeah. They literally do. Here's a start. Majority of Americans trust Biden to negotiate well with foreign leaders. Poll. Like,
who did they poll?
Yeah. Who
the hell did you poll?
Like, guys, like, I don't even care who they polled at this point because it's bullshit, right? Contrast actual video footage of Biden and how he's been acting with this title simultaneously, right? Understand, you are being fed propaganda at every fucking turn. This is called narrative management. They're managing this narrative. Here we are again. Majority of Americans trust Joe Biden to negotiate on U.S. behalf with foreign counterparts. Poll. The same exact ABC News. The same exact shit, guys. The same exact shit. Like, you couldn't make this up. You couldn't, like, this is what is real news. This is real journalism, real media. This? Are you kidding me? We get shut down for talking about the truth, and these people get propped up. Oh, and this one takes the icing on the cake. The icing on the cake. This one.
Oh, you're talking about this one.
This is a real edition from the Time magazine.
Oh my Lord. Taking on Putin, the autocrat's game inside the spy war.
This is real. This is real journalism right here.
Look at that. Look at that.
This is like, do you know, Johnny, this is geared towards young people, millennials, Zoomers. Look at the meme. Like, it's the whole fucking meme culture that they're trying to do here. We are a fucking meme. We live in a fucking cartoon. Yeah. This is a fucking simulation. There's no way. How can this be real? The Time magazine front page cover is Joe Biden with Joe Biden. Like, it's just.
Yeah. The mainstream media is
it's
now
a joke.
They're the stenographers for the military-industrial complex, the predator class, whatnot like that. The fact that they're propping this shit up, and then they say stupid shit out there like anybody but Trump, and you go, yeah, Joe Biden, and stuff like that, and then you actually think that he won these elections.
Oh my
I mean, it's just so stupid that you can really fucking capitulate to this shit. I mean, this guy is just a clown. And my friend who said, well, I like Biden because he's better spoken than Trump. Where? When? How? Like, really, to tell you the truth, they haven't even had this meeting. They refused to have a joint press conference because they weren't going to let the Kremlin press conference come in there and start asking Joe questions. It's got to be a controlled environment where he can read the teleprompter, and even then, it's like, come on, let's go, whatnot.
Yeah.
Like, don't let him wander off. Look at this little video I pulled up right over here, okay? I think it's at 2:15. It's like all of a sudden you can see somebody, you can hear somebody. It's like, oh shit, I'm going to get in trouble for leaving the president alone and then letting reporters ask him questions. Watch this.
And then if I could just.
Let's go, you guys. Come on, press. We're gonna move out. Let's go. Let's go, you guys. Come on, let's go.
You can hear them. Come on, let's go. No questions. Come on, let's go. Let's get him out of here. Let's go. Stop. You can't leave this guy alone for 2 fucking seconds. You know, and the whole thing what they're trying to sell, they're just such NATO stooges. I'm talking about MSNBC, the way they have these questions and these interviews
Their
with
layups.
Putin, and the way they try to frame the whole situation with Putin and the questions and stuff. Like, I know you have different ones here and stuff like that, but I watched an interview and it's like he couldn't even mention Navalny's name. It's
Yeah.
a shame. He goes, and when you go back, he says, listen, I don't care what his name is. The guy committed a crime against a company, a perfume company in France. So I don't care what his name is. I look at him as another Russian citizen, and if another Russian citizen commits a crime and our courts find him guilty, our courts, then he will go to jail.
Yeah.
So and he's just kind of laughing off at these guys like, you're just trying to paint this picture with this guy who's not even known.
anything. Yeah.
Like, nobody even cares. And on
He's
top
not
of
a
it, you want to
journalist.
talk about like
Like-
the whole racist issue. He's a nationalist that's called other people of Russia that don't look like him cockroaches and shit.
Yeah,
Come on,
well,
you
we
don't even know what
back
the fuck's
neo-Nazis
going
in
on.
Ukraine, so we're obviously okay with that. So, okay. So,
Oh, Jesus.
Putin, right? So Putin, of course, has to be brought up because Joe Biden will be meeting with him shortly, very soon. And a journalist asked, an NBC reporter to be specific, asked Putin if he's a killer, right? And Putin laughed. Putin laughed, right? And I said, I would laugh my ass off, like my entire ass off too, if the country that produced Bush, Obama, Biden, and Trump exterminated Native Americans, enslaved Africans, destroyed the global South, killed 2 million plus Iraqis, and funds the death of Yemenis and Palestinians asked me about being a killer. I mean, like all terms Putin, and this isn't just because I'm a Putin fan, okay? This is because of the fact that this guy consistently gets asked about all the shit he's done and how horrible he is by a country that exists to literally take over countries, overthrows leaders all over the world, doesn't have fair elections, has a political prisoner in Julian Assange in jail. I mean, it goes on and on and on and on. It is beyond hypocritical. It is just almost comical for any journalist, right, to ask Putin about him being a killer when they never take any responsibility to ask the same fucking questions to their warmonger presidents and their warmonger leaders in the halls of fucking Congress that get to just be free, to Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton. We haven't even touched that story yet.
Yeah.
Like all of this, like it's just so enraging to me that constantly, nobody's saying Putin is like this giant angel living in fluffy clouds, but by all accounts, he is no worse. Perhaps he is not nearly as bad as the vast majority of presidents we've had in this country.
And besides the point, it's not even our responsibility. It's
care.
like really, seriously, what does that mean? Why would you call Putin a killer? Okay, he's a killer. What does that mean? I mean, we talk about American imperialism all the time and how these other countries, these leaders, are dealing with the boot of American imperialism under their neck. And to make everything clear right now, Russia is running away from any form of imperialism. It bankrupted their country. That's why they said, we're done. We're giving these countries back to themselves. They have the right of self-determination. We're going to pull back and go and just take care of ourselves and our own citizens inside Mother Russia because we can't maintain this. He said that America is a lot like the Soviet Union when it came to their imperialism and trying to keep that afloat. Mm-hmm. The only way you do that is you constantly conquer other countries to take their resources and take their money, or you just have to find out a way to inflate your dollar as best you can. You know what I'm saying, to keep it going. It's going to bankroll us. It's going to bankrupt us, excuse me. And that's the big difference between Putin and Russia. He knows that. He's moving away from it. He doesn't want anything to do with imperialism. He doesn't even want to take over Ukraine.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, no, hell no. But the U.S., it keeps pushing and pushing and pushing. And they need their boogeyman to sell NATO, to sell weapons deal, to sell the imperialism. That's all Putin is. And it's almost comical at this point.
Yeah.
And it's a shame, like people who, like Bernie Sanders, who went
Yep.
to Russia to now say, and Putin won't mess in our elections. It's comical, ladies and gentlemen.
It's comical.
Comical.
One thing I wanted to point out, Johnny, from that article is Putin's response. He laughed and then he said, over my tenure, I've gotten used to attacks from all kinds of angles, from all kinds of areas, under the kinds of pretext and reasons, and at different caliber and fierceness, and none of it surprises me, right? When pressed for an answer, he said, sentiments in terms of who calls someone what kind of labels, this is not something I worry about in the least. Okay, and this is, of course, after Biden called him a killer. We know that was a while ago. But this is, it's just funny. Like, he's like saying, I get asked this all the fucking time. This is nothing to do with it. Now, Zero Hedge has this article that I wanted to kind of point out because I think you would appreciate it, Pasta. Biden, Putin, what's on the table and why no progress can possibly be made. And they basically outline all the reasons, right, why that can't happen. One of the reasons is that for the Russians to be suspicious of any offers from Washington is simply recent precedent, right?
Well, they don't trust us?
No.
Well, why wouldn't you? What reasons does Putin have not to trust the United States, fam? Come on.
And so the U.S., of course, is obviously engaging in this whole Cold War reemergence, neo-McCarthyite bullshit. So obviously it's going to be, if I were Putin, if I were Russia, I wouldn't want to fucking engage with them. I wouldn't want to engage with them. And a couple things they talk about as to what's on the table and what this article is saying is no progress will likely be made. And I agree, is the Crimea region
not going to happen.
Not going to happen. The U.S. wants the peninsula returned to Ukraine. Russia's not going to do that.
Nope.
They're just not. Alex Navalny, of course. Again, they keep using Alex Navalny like he's some sort of like political prisoner when he's barely
Fucking
known at
prop.
all, and he's a racist and he's a prop, and he's a useful idiot for the CIA, basically. The Donbass region, fam. Russia is not going to give up support of the Donbass.
No, it's all freaking Russian fucking ethnic people there, whatnot, who want Russia to protect them. They're not going to give them up to these neo-Nazis in the fucking Eastern Ukraine. It's not going to happen.
Yep.
You know?
And
climate stuff.
This one, because climate stuff is irrelevant virtue signaling, plenty of progress could be made on that front. Well, because like the United States doesn't really have like a legitimate climate plan other than let's reduce carbon emissions by the state that they don't actually act on. Yeah. That's why.
And the last 10 years, the America's bought more Russian oil than it's ever bought in its whole freaking career. That's also another thing. It's like, okay, you want climate change, but yet you want our oil. You want to buy it left and right. All right.
Everybody has to be, environmentally conscious, but the United States.
I love this one.
Russian meddling.
Well, stop making memes that are after your election so that you can blame us for situations. I mean, once again, it is Putin, not Rasputin. You know what I'm saying? Behind the conspiracies, the Russians say they didn't do any of it. Yeah. Once again, you don't have no proof. Did you see the Mueller report? Yeah, I saw the Mueller report.
17 state agencies that are representative of the fucking national security state. Okay. All of them debunked anyway.
Even the Afghani bounty story. Debunked.
And the last one, sanctions and embassies. You're sanctioning them.
Yeah.
Like what world do you think a country like Russia is going to say, oh yeah, let's work as you continue sanctioning?
Yeah. And this was really about this whole G7, which was just a fucking joke.
A shit show.
It was just a joke of virtue signaling, a bunch of bullshit. Europe wasn't too tough on China, but they're like, yeah, kind of, we're behind you, America. And then it's Russia bad, Putin bad, bad. Used to be the G8, but now Russia's not there, so now it's just the G7 and stuff like that. And all it is really, to tell you the truth, is that at the end of the day, the Biden administration would like to somehow sway Putin to get away from China, but that ain't going to happen. That's too gone. That's why Russia's okay with it when it says the divorce. They're like gone. And all this infrastructure bill, really, this infrastructure bill is nothing more than a UE slush fund, right?
Yeah.
To kind of counteract what's going on with the Belt and Road Initiative. So they're going to try to buy Russia out of that whole deal and say, don't do business with China. Don't do business with China. That ship is gone.
Russia's,
it's sailed.
yeah.
It's done. China and Russia are now like, okay, let's de-dollarize. Let's get rid of the dollar. Let's get rid of these assholes. And there's nothing we can do to reverse that. So even if they go over there with this, this is our new plan for infrastructure, it's nothing more than a fucking EU slush fund trying to buy off countries, and they're going to try to do it with Russia, and it ain't going to work.
It's not gonna work.
It's like almost like professional wrestling, except Putin doesn't give a damn. He's like, yeah, I don't give a shit what you guys got to say. We're just going to appear to be tough on you and stuff like this whole facade in front of America's. But behind closed doors, let's do business together. Don't do business with China. No, do business with us. Nope, not going to happen anymore.
Yeah.
It's a whole joke.
We don't have the upper hand anymore.
None.
We've
We
been
don't.
saying
It's
this
gone.
for a while. Yeah.
It's gone.
And it's necessary, I think, for that to happen. I mean, I think these countries do need to start asserting their own independence, making their own alliances to kind of hit the bully back, the bully being the United States empire government, and say you no longer call the shots here, because we've been calling the shots forever. And so America's quickly learning that that's changed, and they don't like it. Yeah. And that's why you see all of this happening. So
real quick, I want to add this clip that
please do.
You guys didn't have. I was like, this is pretty bad too.
When you're having these conversations with European allies who are very concerned about these sanctions, how do you justify that? And what are your plans?
120 days. Give me a break. Need time.
I forgot. I meant to put this one in there. Yeah, that was fucking hilarious, dude. Johnny, what do you think of fucking Biden? Isn't he the greatest president we've ever? Isn't he the next FDR? I'm so excited.
Could you see him, guys? I've only been here for 4 years. Yeah, that's your term. It's over.
Did he say 10 days? Let's watch it again.
With European allies who are very concerned about these sanctions, how do you justify that? And what are your plans?
120 days. Give me a break. Need time.
You justify your rhetoric because you're only there for 120 days?
He whispered.
It makes no sense.
Hilarious. I mean, comedic relief in this cartoon that we live in. It's all
Over
I
here,
can ask
Mr. President, we have your warm milk and cookies right here. Good job. Could you stay on the teleprompter next time? Thank you.
I mean, they might as well embrace that narrative and make him out to be grandpa. Like, I think that's what they're trying to do. Like, oh, look, he's so cute. He doesn't, he's like your grandpa. Your grandpa that's a little bit, handsy and whatever and creepy. But yeah, your grandpa. Okay.